Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today, the fourth and final video in my preview, some thoughts about every team series. Today, I'm finally going to talk about the Pacific Division. The Pacific that's seen by many as the weakest of the four divisions. Personally, I don't think so. I think there will be some balance in this division. Okay, I think two teams will come out on top and one team will come out to the bottom. But the rest could be pretty equal, and I want to rule out only one team in the playoff race, but we will come to that. So let's have a look at all the teams in the Pacific Division and what they did in the offseason and what I expect from them. Alright, last year the Pacific was won by the Calgary Flames. The Flames, the team that lost Johnny Gaudreau and that lost Matthew Tkachuk, but did they lose out at all? I think no. Thanks to Cap Friendly. Very good job you guys are doing. The Flames are now, let me check, they are under the cap by more than $2 million. The only thing they have to do is sign depth forward Adam Ruzicka. That's all. So they are in quite a good position for next season. Yeah, they lost Gaudreau, they lost Matthew Tkachuk, but they won Nazem Kadri, who had a fantastic season last year in Colorado. If he can come even close to what he did in Colorado, the Flames are in very good shape. Because with Elias Lindholm, with now Nazem Kadri, and Michael Backlund down the middle, this is a 1-2-3 punch many teams are looking for. One of the best 1-2-3 punches down the middle in the whole league. Yeah, and of course, in the Matthew Tkachuk trade, they not only got Mackenzie Weegar added to an already very strong blue line, they also got Jonathan Huberdeau, who was one of the top scorers in the 2021-2022 season. The Flames did very, very good. I expect them to be one of the top two teams in the division and start competing for the Stanley Cup because their window is now. Second last year in the Pacific were the Edmonton Oilers. And of course, we all remember in the playoffs, finally, we once again had the Battle of Alberta, the Flames and the Oilers. What a great series that was. Flames lost, Oilers won. Yep, could we see that again this year? Yes, we can. The Oilers are also in a very good shape. Yeah, they are almost 6.8 million above the cap. But LTIR will help them. Oscar Klefbom, who is still under contract there, and Mike Smith will go in LTIR. And then they will be fine to be under the cap. The team, of course, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, a team that has these two guys down the middle, the best 1-2 punch in the league. No, don't argue with me. These two are the best 1-2 center punch in the whole league. If they can surround them with good wingers, and they did a very good job by bringing back Evander Kane, who worked out really good last year, bringing in Matthias Janmark, who can be a very underrated addition. Pugliari is there, Yamamoto is there, RNH, Zach Hyman. Yeah, that looks very good. On defense as well, if they're two young defensemen, Philip Broberg and Evan Bouchard, they are 21/22 years old, and are still on their entry-level contracts. If these two guys can play up to their potential, and Jack Campbell, their new goaltender, can all do that as well, the Oilers are in a very good position. I see them as, together with the Flames, as one of the two top teams in the Pacific. And these two teams, the Alberta teams, the division is theirs to lose. Which brings us to the team that ended third last year, and this were the Los Angeles Kings. Surprising success that the Kings were in the playoffs. All my respect for that. And can they do it again? Can they stay up there? I would say yes, they can. They made some very good moves. They are still under the cap, and they will have. And it's not. I'm not sure if Drew Doughty, who is on the books with $11 million next year, will be off LTIR for the beginning of the season. I guess so, but not sure. Their forward group, of course, led by Anze Kopitar, the newly acquired Kevin Fiala. They brought in him on a 7-year deal worth a lot of money. 7.875 million per season. Philippe Danault, who had a fantastic season last year, not only defensively but also offensively. Good young group to add to with Blake Lizotte, with Quinton Byfield, who is about to reach his potential. I hope so. Gabe Vilardi, Elias Anderson. This could be a very interesting team to watch. On D, with Doughty, of course, I think they would be in a very good position because they still need to sign Michael Anderson and Sean Dursey. Let's see how this all turns out. In goal, Jonathan Quick and Cal Peterson. Peterson did not have his best year last year. Let's hope he can come back. And the basically young core of the LA Kings can continue competing for a playoff spot. Fourth in the 2021-2022 season were a team that everybody expected to win the division, the Vegas Golden Knights. And I don't know if they improved in the off season. I don't know if they got worse. Let's see how all these injuries Vegas had last year. Of course, Mark Stone was out for quite a while. And when he came back, no, he wasn't Mark Stone. More likely this was a shadow or the ghost of Mark Stone, who, he played, but you clearly saw that he shouldn't have played. Maybe he hurt the team more in the end and himself more in the end than he brought. Jack Eichel, is still under contract for 4 more years for $10 million a year. Let's see if he can reach his potential. The core with William Karlsson, Marchessault, Riley Smith, Chandler Stevenson, that's okay. They brought in Phil Kessel. Their forward group, looks not bad. Let's see how it all turns out. Or if the success that was not there in Buffalo was not against Jack Eichel, but because of Jack Eichel. We'll see. Their defensive group, Alex Pietrangelo, Alec Martinez, Shea Theodore, Braden McNabb. This looks good. But what will happen in goal? Logan Thompson, when he was called up last year, did a very, very good job. Laurent Brossoit as well. Now they brought in Aiden Hill. Robin Lehner, their number 1 goaltender, will be on LTIR. He will not play this year. Let's see if he ever plays again. Remains to be seen. Of course, Lehner and Shea Weber, whose contract is now in Vegas, both on LTIR. And this is the only reason this team is allowed to play, because they would be more than 10 million above the cap if all that would count, but LTIR does help them a lot. I'm really not sure if Vegas will improve. Was their bunch of misfits group they had in the first year when they reached the Stanley Cup final, was this the pinnacle for Vegas? Did they improve in the years to come? Will they reverse the trend they had last year where they missed the playoffs for the first time? I'm really not sure. If I had to bet, I would most likely put Vegas outside the playoffs. But we'll see. Up next, the Vancouver Canucks, who ended 5th last year in the Pacific Division. What a season they had. What a down and then up again. Under Travis Green, the team could not score. They could not keep the puck out of the net. Then Bruce Boudreau came over and leads them almost into the playoffs. They ended up 8th in goals against and 18th in goals for. I thought this should be the other way around. At least I felt that Vancouver scored a lot of goals and they also allowed a lot of goals, but obviously I was wrong with that. Their roster, I'm convinced this team has a very good chance to go into the playoffs. They extended JT Miller for, $8 million a year. He is now under contract for 8 more years. Very good call. Miller, their best player last year. Elias Pettersson, who should be their best player. Let's see if he can keep up what he had in the second half of last year. Other guys, Brock Besser, Bo Horvat, who will be in a contract year. Connor Garland, they brought in Ilya Mikheyev, still have Tanner Pearson, and they also won the sweepstakes of Andrei Kuzmenko, who is coming over from the KHL. Let's see how much he can do. at age 26 as a rookie. Their D, always has the reputation of being very, very bad, but I really don't think so. Quinn Hughes is their engine on the blue line. OEL, he is very expensive and eats at least 2 to 3 million more in cap space than he should, but he can be a very good player as well. Let's see if he finds it back. He was not bad last year. Tyler Myers, who, he is a little expensive. Travis Dermott, Luke Shen, Kyle Burrows. This looks good. Of course, Thatcher Demko, one of the most exciting goalies in the league, will be between the pipes for the Vancouver Canucks. But I think their decisive factor will be Bruce Boudreau. Because after he took over, the Canucks really were a great team. Let's see if this happens again this year. I would pick them in the playoffs. Up next, the San Jose Sharks. I was so surprised when reading this on Cap Friendly that the Sharks are only $230,000 below the cap. How is that possible? They traded out Brent Burns. They don't have Evander Kane on the books anymore. They even have Kevin Labanc on IR. They're paying a little for the buyout of Martin Jones. That's about $2 million. They're retaining $2.7 million on Brent Burns' contract for the next 3 years. But the Sharks were a really bad team last year. I was so surprised that they ended up 6th. I would have picked them lower. And I'm pretty sure I will pick them lower again. The blue line now run all alone by Erik Karlsson. The only defenseman they have that's not over or close to 30 is Mario Ferraro. He can be a very good defenseman, 23, still growing into his role. The rest, I'm really not convinced of. Erik Karlsson and Marc-Edouard Vlasic, Radim Šimek, older players, past their prime. Let's see what happens there. The forward group, Thomas Hurdle, Logan Couture, Timo Meier, Luke Cunnin. There are really not many expensive players on this team. How could they be so close to the cap? Is it all Erik Karlsson? I really don't know. With James Reimer and Kaapo Kähkönen in goal, this could be a very good combination. They played really well last year. After Kähkönen came over from Minnesota, Reimer was there all year and he was good. But I don't see a reason of optimism for the San Jose Sharks. I see them as the one team that will not compete for a playoff spot, and I think this will stay this way as long as the Erik Karlsson contract lasts. Up next, the Anaheim Ducks. Or are we allowed to say again the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim? I would really hope so, because this name is pretty cool. The Ducks have more than $16 million in cap space. They have extra draft picks, 3 second-round picks next year, 2 third-round picks, already 2 second-round picks in 2024. This is how you do a rebuild. And I don't think they got worse in the offseason. They brought in Ryan Strome, they brought in Frankie Vatrano up front, they brought in defenseman John Klingberg. Of course, 1-year contract as a trade chip in case it becomes necessary, or maybe he likes it there and decides to stay. We will see. Their forward group is exciting, and their 2 best forwards in last year, which were Trevor Zegras and Troy Terry, both RFAs in 2023. So they both have a contract year. So they want to show the general manager, Pat Verbeek, we are worth that amount of money because we are great. And I think both of them will get a significant chunk of that 16 million in cap space. The Ducks, about to come out of a rebuild, I think their chances to compete for a playoff spot this year are good. Why not? The Ducks did that what the Sharks deny now for years. They did the rebuild that the Sharks still deny. I don't know why. The Ducks did it the right way. Let's see what happens. And finally, the NHL's newest team, the Seattle Kraken. Seattle came into the league last year as the expansion team. I thought they could do better, but yeah, as an expansion team, you never know. The chemistry just had to develop. Expansion teams are hard to predict. Anyway, they have about $1 million left in cap space, which I'm surprised that they are already spending so close to the cap. They do have extra draft picks, and they brought in some new players like Andrei Burakovsky, Oliver Björkstrand, came in from Columbus, of course. Goaltender Martin Jones, also new there. But I think with the Kraken, it's not about bringing in big-name free agent. It's about finding the team's chemistry, setting up who is the core, who are the leaders on this still new team. The first year was something to forget. I'm very sure that the Kraken will be a lot better this year and be a lot closer to the playoffs. Maybe not in, but at least close. And this depends a lot on how their centers will do. Because their top two centers right now are Matty Beniers, first round pick of 2021. Shane Wright, first round pick of 2022. Beniers is still a rookie. Of course, Wright is a rookie. If these two guys can be the real deal, I think the Kraken do have a chance. At least to compete, to play some important games in February and March. Maybe not be complete sellers at the deadline, but we'll see. If these two guys don't pan out, and Beniers already showed that he can be very good at the NHL level next year, if he can keep that up and Wright come right with him, this could be very, very interesting, and I see a bright future for the Seattle Kraken. Alright, that's it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and let me know in the comment section below, what do you think about the teams in the Pacific Division? Thanks again, have a good time, goodbye.